Imagine this. A man brings his girlfriend home to live with him and his golden retriever, the dog who has been his best friend for 8 years. At first, everything seems perfect, but then she starts ignoring the dog completely. No pats, no walks, no eye contact, for weeks. And what happens next will break your heart, and then put it back together in the most unexpected way. This is the true story of how one woman's big mistake almost cost her everything. It all started the day she moved in. The man was so excited to introduce his girlfriend to his dog. The dog waited at the door, tail wagging so hard his whole body shook. He had brought his favorite toy, a worn-out tennis ball, ready to play. But the woman barely glanced at him. She just stepped over the dog and said, "Can you keep him out of the way? I'm allergic." The man laughed it off at first, thinking she was joking. He didn't know this was only the beginning of weeks of cold silence between the woman and the dog. By the end of the first week, the pattern was clear. Every morning, the dog would wait patiently by the man's side of the bed, hoping for his usual belly rub and walk. But the woman would roll over and complain loudly that the dog was breathing too loud. The man started taking the dog out alone, while she stayed in bed scrolling her phone. The dog's tail no longer wagged with the same joy. You could see the confusion in his eyes every time the woman walked past without even saying his name. It was like he had suddenly become invisible in his own home. Week 2 was when the sadness really set in. The dog stopped eating his breakfast. The man noticed the food bowl was still full at night. He tried mixing in extra treats, but the dog just lay on his bed with his head on his paws, staring at the door. The woman noticed too, but only rolled her eyes and said, "He's probably just being dramatic for attention." She never once bent down to check on him or offer a kind word. The man felt torn between the woman he loved and the dog who had been there through every hard day of his life. Week 3 was when the dog started showing anxiety in ways no one could ignore. He began pacing the living room at night, whining softly whenever the woman sat on the couch. Once, he even tried to jump up beside her for comfort, but she immediately pushed him off and told the man to put him in the backyard. The dog's one shiny coat looked dull. His ears stayed flat against his head. The man took him to the vet, but the vet said there was nothing physically wrong. It was emotional. The dog was grieving the loss of the family he thought he had. In week 4, the dog started doing desperate things to get noticed. He would bring his toy and drop it right at the woman's feet while she watched television. She would kick it away without looking. He tried sleeping outside her bedroom door, so she would have to step over him in the morning. Nothing worked. The woman told the man she was tired of the dog always being underfoot, and maybe they should consider rehoming him. Those words hit the man like a punch to the chest. He couldn't believe the woman he loved could be so heartless toward the dog who had saved him from loneliness after his last breakup. Then came the night that changed everything. It was late, and the man was away on a quick business trip. The woman was home alone when she heard strange noises outside the window. The dog, who she had ignored for 4 straight weeks, suddenly stood up, fur raised, and started barking like crazy. He threw himself against the back door, trying to protect her. Instead of thanking him, the woman yelled at him to shut up and locked him in the laundry room so she could sleep. She had no idea what was really happening outside. The next morning, the man came home early and found the backyard gate open. The dog was gone. The woman was in tears on the couch, finally admitting she had opened the gate the night before because the barking annoyed her. She thought the dog would just come back, but hours passed and he didn't. They drove around calling his name until dark. The man was devastated. The woman finally broke down and said she never understood how much the dog meant to him until now. She realized her weeks of ignoring him had pushed the dog away and almost destroyed their relationship too. They found the dog the next day at the animal shelter, thin, scared, but still wagging his tail when he saw the man. The woman got down on her knees for the first time and hugged him. She whispered sorry over and over while tears ran down her face. From that day on, everything changed. She started taking the dog for walks, buying him new toys, and even sleeping with him curled up at the foot of the bed. The man watched with a full heart as the woman who once ignored his dog became the person who loved him most. This story proves one simple truth: never underestimate how much a dog feels when you ignore him. Your pet isn't just an animal, he's family, and ignoring that family can cost you more than you ever imagined. If this story touched you, let us know in the comments what you would do if your partner ignored your dog, and make sure you never make the same mistake.